Hey guys, you got Crave here, and for anyone who's interested in the Old Republic, specifically the free-to-play part of it, then here's something that can help you decide if you should try it. If you want the summary of this whole video right now, then I'm going to say yes, it's very much worth it if you are fine with restrictions and you find value in nicely delivered narratives that are paired with the Old Republic's MMO mechanics and just about an okay game engine. Another thing that's key here is that if you wanted a continuation of sorts of the Knights of the Old Republic single-player games, then the Old Republic is an easy recommendation. However, if you want more details on why I recommend this game, just keep watching. I won't be following my usual format of going over the graphics, story, and gameplay, but I will touch on those aspects. The focus of this video is on the restrictions and the free-to-play format. There's a number of nuances to this, so I'll go into detail on some of them that I feel are important to be expounded on and list down some other items that might not be as important. I think this is the best part, but there are 8 different classes with 2 advanced classes per main class. Each advanced class will also have its own set of specializations, so you can be a Sith warrior, a smuggler, a bounty hunter with different set of sub-specializations, and this applies to other class types. However, there are 2 caveats in this area. The first one is that you will be limited in the types of races that you can pick, but I don't think that should be a big issue. And the second thing is that you can only level 4 classes for each server. Each main class type has its own unique story that doesn't really differentiate between the advanced specs and the sub-specs. So the story for an Imperial agent will be different from that of a Sith Inquisitor, but the healing spec Imperial agent will have the same class story as an Imperial agent sniper. Whether you're subscribed or not, the path allowed for max level for free-to-play players will generally be the same set of planets that you will visit with some minor variations. What this means is that the planetary and side quests related to that faction will all be the same regardless of class. So if you want a different experience, then I would suggest jumping over to the other side to have a change of scenery. The format or presentation of your class or personal stories is very close to the Knights of the Old Republic games or the format of the older BioWare games. You will have the themes that fit your character class. You will get to notice this in different multiplayer situations in shared dialogues. A bounty hunter generally thinks and speaks like a bounty hunter, while a Jedi Knight will do things appropriately. In terms of class design, most classes will be the exact mirrors of their counterparts in the opposing faction. There will of course be some aesthetic differences, like a Jedi Sage will be hurling rocks at enemies, while a Sith Inquisitor will be using lightning effects. There are variations, of course. In addition, free players are also able to access the Rise of the Hutt and the Shadow of Revan expansions, which covers the level 50 to 60 range. While these expansions no longer offer the personal story or class stories, they still allow for a continuation of your adventures in the Legends universe of Star Wars. This means that expansions allow you to delve a bit deeper into the culture of the Huttese, and if you played the Knights of the Old Republic games, this allows a continuation of sorts of Revan's story. So even with just this, it essentially offers a ton of value if you lean heavily on the story aspect of the Old Republic. Level 1 to 60 is really just worth it. By the way, all this is backed up by the music themed around the Star Wars saga. So what this means is that if you want to hear lightsaber and blaster sounds, you hear lightsaber and blaster sounds. While we're talking about the path to level 60, and barring any items that you can get from the in-game shop, the experience rate for free-to-play is considered as quote-unquote standard when you hit level 20 and beyond, while subscribers earn points at a higher rate. Personally, I'm not sure if this is a big deal, as the leveling experience in the Old Republic in its current state is pretty fast. I played this game when it initially came out, and from memory, leveling was so much lower. Now, just going for your personal story and maybe a number of heroic quests, or maybe completing some planetary quests to go with that, it already puts you in a very good pace to make sure you don't lag behind in terms of character levels. Even without rested experience bonus that paid subscriptions get, the rate of gaining experience is not that bad. What you may notice more are the restrictions around movement or delays in increasing your ability to move around faster. From the moment you start on your journey as a free player, you will notice that some level 1 players are running around faster while you are just jogging. What you've just seen are some subscribers and some preferred players. As free to play, you'll get the sprint ability at level 10. Another thing is that it's not easy to purchase your riding skill, as the cost is higher for free to play subs. Recently, when I leveled my Jedi Shadow, I do remember that it took some running around and saving up for credits before I could just go ahead and get my mount skill. It may not be of a big deal, as many parts of Star Wars are instants, and should you find yourself planted for a bit in a specific location or planet, you can always use your quick travel beacon, which ports you to a faction location which normally has a taxi service nearby. You can think of the quick travel beacons as hearthstones in World of Warcraft, but it's not tied to a specific location. In terms of credits, or the currency in the game, there is a difference in the upkeep or the cost of buying items in the game between a paid subscription and a free one. For the most part, it's really just a matter of convenience. For example, costs of item modification or removing item mods from your items or your gear are much higher for free players. So it does affect other purchases in the game, and it will mean balancing your budget, especially if you're a new player on your first character. If you do get lucky with drops and you find something of value that can be sold on the auction house or the trade network, there is still a limit of 2 postings on the GTN. So while it is possible to engage in the buying and selling of items, there are restrictions. In addition, should you do pretty well in earning money or credits, there is a cap for free subs and preferred accounts. Last I read, it was around, I think, 1 million credits, and while that may seem pretty much a large amount, it's really not, depending on the things you want to buy in-game. I have seen items on GTN, especially mounts, that cost tens of millions, or some even in the hundreds if I'm not mistaken. So generally, paid subscribers do have it easier in terms of working through the in-game economy, and free and even preferred accounts will have to work things out differently. Now, this part will perhaps be very important to consider if you want to fully invest your time as a free sub. This is also the part where I feel you will see the difference between a paid sub against a preferred and free sub. Let's get one of the more important things out of the way, which can turn off some people. The max level for the Old Republic currently is at 75, and since free subscriptions are locked at 60, the possibility of joining endgame operations are basically reduced to 0. Tied to that is the gear you can acquire. Purple gear or higher level gear cannot be used by free-to-play subs. I've heard that there is a way to unlock the purple items, but it doesn't seem worth it given that you're pretty much maxed out at level 60 in terms of level progression. So if you're still here listening and are fine with the lack of operations for free players, then you still have some options in terms of group play. Other than grouping up for heroic quests or questing in general, you can still do flashpoints or dungeons in the Old Republic. If you're a very solo-minded player, then you don't have to worry, as certain flashpoints will also have story modes where the system sort of lends you a combat droid to tag along as you complete the instance. These story mode flashpoints are only for those cases where the instance or dungeon is part of the main story. If you do the flashpoints as a group, you will still get the rewards for the group effort, but there is a weekly limit on what you can get from the last boss of each instance. On this limit, this will be the general theme for the free sub setup. For example, you can do all the other activities like regular war zones, which are referred to as PvP battlegrounds in other MMOs. You can also do the space missions, which are solo arcade type space fights, and you can also work on your professions or crafting, which allows you to create items for your own use or to be sold to others. All these are available with limits. The war zones will not allow you to solo queue for more than 10 per week unless you can keep queuing with a friend who subscribed. Space missions, which are great for earning extra XP as you level, have a solid stop at 10 per week. Crafting is also limited to queuing one companion to perform a certain task. I think you get the gist. True, it's not like Warframe where you can grind out most items in the game, or World of Warcraft where you can grind for your monthly subscription so you can stop paying with real money, but the Old Republic does offer a ton of value as you go for level 60 on several characters. There is no grinding for the things that you can get into prior to the limits imposed by the system. For the window that is allowed by these limits, you don't have to stress yourself out or play catch up. You can just jump right into an activity that is available to you. I think I've gone over the important things to consider if you are thinking about playing the Old Republic without paying for anything. Now, let me quickly go over some items which I think should still matter but didn't discuss in detail. So the first thing is your bank or your personal storage. You cannot use your bank or cargo hold unless it is unlocked. Now, you can unlock your hold from any cartel coins that you might have saved up, but outside of this and aside from your inventory, storage space is very much limited. The second thing is that you won't have access to the expansions after level 60, so you have to subscribe at least 1 month to get the 3 expansions. You maintain access to these expansions, these 3 expansions up to level 75, even when you cancel your sub. Incidentally, this gives you 500 cartel coins just for 1 subscription and flags your account as a preferred account, which gives slightly more benefits than a completely free one. Now, regarding the cartel coins I mentioned earlier, you can get 100 coins per month when you attach a security key to your account. It's not much, but it allows for you to save them up or spend them for some convenience, like being able to share mounts across characters. There's also another mode in the game called Galactic Starfighter, and you can queue and join in these PvP-oriented space battles. I haven't really tried this in my time spent in the game, but from what I've seen, it's a pretty solid setup. There are more nuances compared to the PvE space missions. Now, this might be more important than the others, but chat is time limited for free-to-play accounts, and you are unable to send email. Now, if you like talking while questing or hanging out in the fleet, then this can be a bit of a bother. I haven't really tested the sending email part while my account was free, but I saw other players talking about it in chat, so I thought I should mention it. In terms of changing the look of your characters, then the outfit designer is limited to 4 slots for free subscriptions. I spent a lot of credits changing the look for my character, so I thought this might be important to some of you guys. And in terms of PvP, specifically the ranked PvP, only subscribers can join in ranked matches. So PvP is important to many players and gamers, and in this, you really have to have an active sub or a paid sub to join in these dedicated PvP matches. Respecialization or changing your spec. There is a cost associated for free-to-play accounts when you change your specialization under your advanced class. In this case, if you're the type who likes to switch between healer and DPS roles or whichever specs, this will cost you a lot of credits. And the last bit is support in-game or in-game support. You won't be able to submit a support ticket while playing. I find that feature to be really useful in World of Warcraft. So for free-to-play players in the Old Republic, the only options are sending mails or picking up the phone. So there you have it. That's pretty much how I see the free-to-play part of the Old Republic before I paid a monthly subscription. Now, the restrictions are there for sure, but like I mentioned, when something is available to you, it's already there with some limits. You can think of it as an extended demo for some games with some really interesting narratives as you level the different classes. There's also enough group content to give you a feel of the things in the endgame. Maybe you like it and subscribe, and maybe you won't and just leave it there on the side. It's free after all. I enjoyed it a whole lot that I subbed as a contribution, just like I did with some other games or some other free games like Warframe. Anyway, thanks for watching this guys. You got Crave here, and I'll talk to you soon.